I wanna see your cheeks glow red, red, red.
Hey babes, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a spooky season look. We're going to be getting this clown look going today. So if you guys want to see how I get it, then keep on watching and subscribe to my channel for new content. But let's jump into it.
Raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Cooking up, open the crock pot. We came from nothing to something, nigga.
So here I am fresh faced, and I did my brows off camera, but I'm going to be using my soft matte concealer in the shade Vanilla by Nars, one of my go-to shades when I know I'm going to be doing a pigmented look. And I'm going to apply that all over my eyelid. After I apply it with the brush, I'm just going to use my fingertip to kind of buff it into my eye and blend it out. It doesn't need to be perfect, just an FYI. Oh, and if you're new to my channel, just know I do not set my lids when I know I am going to be using a lot of pigment. That's like my go-to tip when it comes to doing eyeshadow on brown skin. I'm using my favorite palette, the Morphe James Charles palette, and I'm going to go in with this bright red shade and apply that right above my crease. I have hooded eyes, so I like to give the illusion that I have a little bit more crease space to work with, and if you apply it a little bit higher, it gives the impression that you have more eye space to work with. So this is one of my favorite things to do. So I'm packing that shade on, not blending it out, just packing it on so I can get the pigment nice and vibrant like I want it. Now I'm using my Wet n Wild blending brush, $1 by the way, and I'm gonna buff that into my eye, get rid of that harsh line that we have now that we're content with the amount of pigment. And here's when I noticed that one eye was a little bit more vibrant than the other, so I just picked up that same brush that we used to apply the red and packed a little bit more on. Sometimes it's not completely even, and that's okay, but you do want to make sure that it does look correct to your eye. So I'm just applying a little bit more, and then I'm going to use that same blending brush and buff out that edge again. To give this eye more depth, I'm going to take that black shade, my favorite black, and start packing that shade on like I did with the red. I'm using a tiny blending brush to really be precise in where I apply it, because black can make the eye messy real quick. So I'm kind of bringing it into a C motion as well, not bringing it all the way into my inner corner, but halfway in. And we're going to buff that in later on with that same blending brush from before. You're going to see me continue to apply more black to my outer corner just because I want it to be really, really smoky. And so this is what we are working with so far. I went ahead and did the other eye off camera. Now I'm going to take that same red blending brush and buff out that harsh line. And I do have a little paper towel in my hand just so I can remove the black shadow, and I'm not mixing it with the other red shadow, if that makes sense. So I did go back and forth between cleaning my brush and then buffing out that harsh line. And be sure to blend, blend, blend. Blending is legit your best friend. So y'all are gonna see me doing a lot of blending. I didn't want to cut it all out because I wanted you to know that it is a process. Now that I'm done with that other eye, I'm gonna go ahead and buff out the other one like you see me doing. And it should look something like this, looking nice. Now we're going to cut that crease with that same Nars concealer in the shade Vanilla. I did kind of breeze through this process, but I do have a more in-depth cut crease tutorial on my channel. I'll link it in the description box down below in case you guys want to see how I do it on my hooded eyes. So yeah, check that out. I'll leave it down below. And yeah. For my lids, I'm taking this champagne color and I'm applying this with the flat shadow brush right on top of that concealer that we used to cut that crease. Once we're done with that, I'm using that same black shade from the Morphe palette, and I'm going to blend those edges together, kind of buff out that black so that it blends seamlessly with that shimmer shade that we applied. To give my eyes a little bit more definition, I'm going to use the Anastasia Beverly Hills liquid liner and line my eyes really thinly just so it blends in with that black shade on the outer corner, but also makes my eyes pop a little bit when I put on those lashes. For lashes, I'm going to use the Melanin Shops lashes in the number 004. You saw me use them in my last video. They're really cute. They just give you a little bit more of a dramatic look. They're super comfortable on the eyes too. Picked up some more red shadow and I decided to buff that underneath my eyes. This is going to give me more pigment when it's time to finish off those eyes at the end when we put on our foundation. And for foundation today, I'm going to use my Tarte foundcealer, one of my favorites. This is so skin-like in the shade 54N, I believe. And I'm applying it with a little like painter's makeup brush and then buffing it in with my favorite Sephora foundation brush, double-ended. This has been a favorite forever since I worked at Sephora, and I still can't let it go to this day. For concealer, I'm going to use my Born This Way concealer in the shade Mahogany, and I'm applying that right underneath my eyes, my cupid's bow, my forehead, and I did not do my nose because, as you can see later on in the tutorial, I'm going to do that separately after I contour. But I'm buffing that in with a damp beauty blender, and this is the Real Techniques one. You can get this from anywhere: Ulta, your local beauty supply store, your grocery store. It's really easy to find, so one of my favorites. When I'm finally done blending to the gods, I'm going to take my black opal foundation stick in the shade Walnut and start carving out my nose. Let me know if you guys want a in-depth nose contour tutorial. I do have a highlight and contour tutorial on my channel, but I don't have a up-to-date version on how I contour my nose. I finally figured out how I'm doing it, and I've been in love recently. So let me know if you want that. But I'm buffing that in with a small blending brush, and I'm taking a concealer brush and using that same concealer to highlight the bridge of my nose as well. To set my face, I'm using my Peach Perfect powder in Caramelized Peach. I'm going to use this to set all of the places that I highlighted before. When that's finished, I'm using my Real Techniques contour brush, and I'm going to buff in that foundation that we applied before. To set my contour, I'm going to use my favorite Hoola Toasted Bronzer, and I'm going to use that same fluffy brush to contour or set that contour on my nose. And I'm going to use a angled brush to set my cheeks and underneath my jawbone. This is my favorite because it's not just a brown, guys. It has a little bit of a burgundy or like reddish tone. So it really gives me that nice defined look without it looking too much and brings that warmth back into my face. Now I'm going to apply more of that red shade underneath my eyes to blend everything together. And once I'm done with that red, I'm going to apply that same black shadow underneath to bring that smokiness down. You really want to make sure your eyes are balanced. You never want to have too much product on top and not enough on the bottom. So you just kind of see me rounding everything out. For blush, I'm going to use my Saharan Desert Volume 2, this red shade on my cheeks. I really want it to be vibrant since we're going for that clown look. So I'm really applying that blush like crazy here. Side note though, I've really been loving blush recently because I was never a blush girl before, if you ask anybody, but now I've really just been loving that glowy, like bright cheek look. So I actually have been feeling it, I'm not gonna lie. And I'm gonna apply it to my nose as well because we're going for that clown look, I guess. Now that we're looking nice and blushy, I started to feel myself, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna take my Wet n Wild liquid felt tip liner and start drawing these upside down triangles on my face. This liner was giving me problems at first. I'm gonna be 110% honest. I should have used like a paintbrush or something else instead, but I wanted to be fast and I wanted something precise. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do it to the other eye as well. After I'm done filling those in, which took me a little while, not gonna lie again, should have used something else, but you live and you learn. I'm gonna draw 2 more triangles above my brow, start to fill it in like you'll see me do in a second. Now this has to be one of my favorite part of the looks. I'm gonna draw a cute little heart nose on my nose, as you can see me do right here. It comes off a little bit crooked at first, but I do go in and fix it. And this is the part where I kind of debated on if I should just leave it as is, but I decided to color it in with that black felt tip liner. Once that little heart nose was drawn on, I really started to feel myself and saw the look kind of coming together. And I just kind of touched up those little triangles underneath my eyes, made sure the lines were nice and straight. For my lips though, I'm going to use this black liner and start to outline my lips. I am overlining them a little bit, and I'm going to bring them out like a Joker smile per se, and do the same thing to the other side too. Then once I'm done with that, I'm going to do the same thing, outline the bottom of my lip and bring that out to connect with that little hook that we've got going on at the end. Once I was happy with the way the shape turned out, I used that same felt tip liner and I drew on top of what I created beforehand to make sure that the lines are nice and sharp and you can really see the mouth. I wanted it defined. And now you can really see everything kind of coming together. Now I'm just taking that same black liner and I'm going to start filling in my lips a little bit so that I get that ombre effect when I put on that red liquid lip. I'm going to clean up any harsh edges with a little bit of concealer and a flat tip brush. Next, I'm using my MAC Cosmetics Retro Matte Liquid Lip in the shade Dance With Me, and I'm going to apply that to the inside of my lips and blot them together so they can kind of blend together. To finish off this look, I'm going to take that shimmer shade in my Saharan Volume 2 palette and apply that to my nose with my finger, above my lip, and right above the balls of my cheeks. I love this palette, guys. I use it all day, I swear. You can't tell me anything when it comes to this palette. I'm also going to use the same shade to highlight the bridge of my nose, underneath my brow bones, and I'm going to use it for my inner corner highlight as well. For the last final touches, I'm just going to finish touching up my upper lip since I applied that highlight and it got rid of some of that liner. Last but not least, to set everything and keep it in place, I'm using my NYX Matte Finishing Spray, and here is the final look. Alright babes, so here's the finished look. I went ahead and threw on a pink top just to match my little puffs up at the top. I hope y'all enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed and subscribe to my channel if you are new. Also tag me if you decide to recreate this look. I think it's super sexy, super cute, but also super fun. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. But until then babes, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.